Greetings, Eric Bakker, Naturopath. Thanks for coming back. We're going to talk about keto diet and the Candida. If you watch videos like Dr. Berg, who does a great job on keto, I just watched recently one of his videos on keto diet, intermittent fasting and Candida. It was a very, very good video, and it makes a lot of sense. Keto is an excellent diet for people, which is a bit like the MEVY diet: meat, eggs, vegetables, and yogurt. So eliminating sugar, the shitty carbohydrates that many people eat, like breads and crackers and chips and junk like that, things that tend to have a quick, blood sugar response, have always been, in my opinion, a bad kind of choice when it comes to Candida. This is something I really try to, communicate across on this channel, the Candida Crusher channel. So I've done many videos on diet, enough there for you to get a good understanding on what's good and what's not good when it comes to eating. So, but the keto diet is excellent because the body is now going to start, utilizing fat for energy and ketones rather than glucose or the carbohydrate pathway. The transition can be quite tough for some people, I've noticed, but does it work for Candida? It does. It does work for Candida. There are many approaches, dietary approaches, when it comes to Candida, but the keto approach is particularly good. I like the intermittent fasting bit too, because it also trains people to learn to eat differently from how they normally eat. It's good to understand that there's a lot of psychology behind eating, and when you do fasting, you learn to push food away and not to always think about food and have the brain engaged, which stimulates the gut to want that food all the time. So cleansing occurs with fasting. However, I've never been a fan of fasting personally. I don't really see the need to fast, in my opinion, for most of my clients in the clinic. What I do like to say every now and then to people, particularly when it's warranted, is to skip one meal of the day or eat much smaller portion sizes in general. So many people eat too much food too often, too frequently, and also people don't really have a mindfulness approach when it comes to eating. They just eat stuff for the sake of eating it. They don't really think. When you're driving a car, you're thinking all the time, you're paying attention. When you're eating, however, going to the refrigerator, you're probably not really paying any attention. You'll have some kids screaming in the background, or you'll have a wife or husband yelling at you, or, hey, make me a cup of coffee, or there's something going on, so you're not paying a lot of attention. And especially stress and boredom come into it and, tend to precipitate poor diet choices. So lifestyle, a good lifestyle or a bad lifestyle, can certainly initiate that in a person to create pretty sloppy and crappy eating habits. I'm a big fan of getting that lifestyle to a high degree where you're happy with how you live and to really work a good diet around your lifestyle. So keto does work well, but as I mentioned, the transition period can be quite rough. So I'm not a fan of high meat diets at all. So paleo kind of high meat consumptions I think are just too hard on the gut, too hard on the kidney. They create too much waste in the body. I believe in a much lower meat approach, and particularly when it comes to foods like fish, very good quality ocean caught fish and high grade free range chicken are two excellent protein sources, for example. But lots of lamb and pork and beef and bison and venison, all that kind of stuff, I just think it's over the top. It's too much overload for the gut. I prefer people to have lighter protein choices in their diet, and particularly the legumes and the nuts and seeds. And again, I'm also not anti-grain at all. I don't think people should avoid grains entirely in their diet, but a balanced approach. So if your wanting of keto is good, it is good, but it will not eradicate Candida. Many of my clients who've been on keto diets prolonged, and even with stool testing, I've found Candida there. So it's not going to guarantee that you're going to eliminate Candida, but it's certainly going to clean up your gut and help to burn fat and improve, cognition and various other aspects. So here's what you do if you're thinking about going on a keto diet. Let's say you've got a bit of weight and you've got issues with your digestion, is you do a stool test, a comprehensive stool test, times 3, so 3 samples on 3 days, as you're doing your keto diet or as you're just initiating it. And then you may want to wait 3 months and repeat that. Just do 1 sample and then look at the microbiology of your gut when you've been on keto for 12 weeks as opposed to what you were previously doing. That will give you a good understanding on which direction your gut is heading into in terms of immune responses, inflammatory responses, and things like that. And you can also see the microbiology to see if that's changed for the positive or negative. So many people go through a gut kind of a change as they're changing their diet. And this is quite normal. So some bacteria will come up, some will come down, some yeast species will come up, some will come down. But look at the signs and symptoms of how you feel. And that will also give you a pretty good indication, to what level the microbiology is changing in the gut. So I'm all for keto. Intermittent fasting is excellent for some people, but for many people I know, it doesn't really do much, or they find it too difficult to work with. But that choice is yours, all up to you. So yes, a tick for keto and a question mark for the intermittent fasting. Thanks for posing the question.